Most of us aren't production turners. I'm certainly not. Very rarely do I do a true production run of something, but every now and then I do turn multiples of a project. Like these simple Christmas tree ornaments, or a bunch of one-piece acorns, or maybe it's a bunch of eggs. But I've learned something important. Turning multiples is your fastest way of improving your wood turning skills. I was getting ready to turn a number of these small mahogany bowls for some volunteers I work with in my church, and I thought, you know, this might be a good teaching video for some of you viewers. In this video, I want to share some practical tips aimed specifically at us hobbyists, not for somebody that's in a factory shop. We're going to talk about why repeating the same project improves muscle memory, how consistency improves tool control, why simple projects like ornaments and eggs and such are perfect skill builders, how repetition exposes bad habits and helps fix them. I guarantee you turning a chess set with 16 pawns will improve your detailed spindle gouge work. How to set up your shop and workflow for small production runs. It isn't about mass production. It's about learning, skill development, and becoming a better turner through repetition and intentional practice. Hi y'all, welcome to my shop. If you're interested in learning more about turning tips, tricks, and projects to help you become a better wood turner, please hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. So let's talk about why turning multiples matter. First of all, repetition. It builds muscle memory. It gives you tool confidence. Turning lots of these angel ornaments was a tremendous skill builder for me to learn how to use a skew as I would turn 30 of these for a ladies' Christian retreat. It helps you get more consistent about your body position, learning more about controlled tool presentation. It teaches tool angle awareness, pressure control. How do you, it gives you a little more discipline about entering and exit on a specific cut. And certainly we all want to avoid those rim skates or skate backs when we start turning a cove. It improves that cut consistency. When it comes to our cut, it improves our surface quality. It improves the flow of curves and symmetry and our sense of proportion. It exposes bad habits. It exposes rushed cuts. It exposes inconsistent technique and poor stance or grip. So the learning value for a novice turner is repeating the same form. It removes the design complexity because you're doing the same thing over and over. It allows you to focus on technique. It still allows for some design variation, whether it's like rim treatment on these bowls. And it allows you to examine the form and ask, what might I change the next time I turn one to make it better? So the benefits for beginners include faster skill progression. You climb that learning curve faster. Better control of catches. Yeah, they still happen. I still get them. Richard Bradford still gets them, but you won't get them as often, and you'll understand why they're happening, and you're better able to reduce the number of them. You'll get cleaner cuts. You'll rely less on sanding as you get smoother cuts and fewer tool marks. Leave fewer tool marks on your work. It builds confidence. It gives you predictable results. Familiar tool movements. Reduces your hesitation. One of the things I like about it is it teaches process thinking. It allows you to think about the sequence of events. What's the efficient order of cuts? What's a safer workflow process? Sometimes we need to develop a production mindset. Think about the process, how to speed it up. For me, that means thinking about it and taking a few notes. Maybe it means turning one or two and revising my notes to get a feel for where I'm going. It's important that we organize our workspace, that we have tools close by that we're going to use. And you think about the tools and you get them all lined up. Sometimes I set them on a little platform on the bedways. Sometimes I keep them stored in a bucket. Have your sharpening system close by for easy sharpening. Make sure all the frequently used tools are close by within easy reach, and that means everything from chucks to live centers, drive centers, or marking devices such as a awl or a center punch. Batch your steps. If you're going to do the same operation, especially when it involves rechucking, do the whole thing. Put everything between centers and turn them all around and put a tenon on each one of them. Then, as you remove your live and drive center, you do the chuck, put on a chuck, and then you use the chuck, for example, for all of them. So you don't have that back and forth changing operation. Try to use the same tool effort. Develop that pressure and try to be consistent with it. As you go through production, you'll learn about the different woods and how they react differently. For example, if you're doing something out of dried white oak, you're going to get different results than you do with poplar. Prepare all the blanks to the same size, whether that's a table saw or a bandsaw. I'm not saying you've got to mill everything, but make sure they're pretty close. Square the ends so they don't have to be trued up once they're mounted on the lathe. And this is especially important when you've got drive centers, for example, that are step centers. They've got to be flat against a surface that's perpendicular to it. Do the final shape on all the pieces, one right after another. If it's a item like a Christmas tree ornament or a gnome that's got noses, or if it's like a birdhouse ornament that's got a roof and a body and a perch and a finial and a bird on top, when you get all the parts done, assemble them all at the same time. All this reduces your tool setup and it gets you in a rhythm. Keep your tool layout consistent. Same tool sequence with each piece. Use the same tools for each project. Avoid switching a technique in the middle of a run. Your project may help you identify tools that will make your work more fun or easier, rather than just going out and you think, I need this, and go out and get it. Wait till you actually need it. That could be anything from maybe you decide that you're better off with a wider parting tool to do tenons than the 3/32 inch parting tool. Maybe when you're doing final cuts on parting off on some things like an egg, maybe your 16th inch parting tool is not fine enough. Maybe you need to make you a little shear spear type of tool. Just as you go through it, learn to use what you've got. Use as few tools as possible, but if you see an opportunity to improve your process by making or buying a new tool, it's something to consider if you're going to be doing that often. Here's an example where I had to turn a lot of knobs for this unit in my shop, and I've discovered that if I developed a screw chuck, it made things a whole lot faster. Here's a variation of that screw chuck. I'd call it a screw mandrel that I used for chess pieces. It really speeded up production and was a really good way to hold it. Didn't require buying anything. If your normal jaws are too large, for example, this egg is just a little bit smaller than I need for my normal jaws, maybe you need some smaller chuck jaws. So that's a consideration. If it's something that you're going to be doing a lot of, maybe rather than buying a set of smaller jaws, maybe you want to get a smaller chuck with that smaller set of jaws, because that's more efficient than changing the jaws out. Jigs and aids, these can really speed up doing multiples. For example, for these little small Christmas tree ornaments, I develop a little storyboard for them because it's easier if I'm going to come back and do it later. I don't have to rethink the project. I've got a picture. But for each one, it makes the layout a little bit easier. Pencil reference lines. Maybe when you're working on the lathe, depth marks with a parting tool. So think about those types of things. Sometimes you need a mindset shift. I know it's easy for us to get in a certain routine, for example, roughing out, and I see this a lot with beginners. They'll go very, very slow, roughing out a square blank to a round. Instead of thinking that, hey, it's a little bit like cutting off slices of bananas for your breakfast. You don't care whether they're 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch. You just want to get on with it so you can get on with the main task of eating breakfast. Recognize when you're going too slow, and for a step that doesn't need to go slow, that you can speed up, and roughing out is an example. That's assuming you've got your basic roughing out techniques down. And remember, it's not all about speed. It's not about output volume. It's not about selling things. It's about skill repetition, process learning, building your confidence, refining your technique, and getting that muscle memory. You don't need to be a production turner to benefit from using production techniques. Small batch turning is essentially training, practice, and skill building. Simple repeated projects are going to make you faster than random one-offs, or especially when you're a brand new turner, you want to make this, then you want to make this, then you want to make this. No. Find something simple you can make multiples of and stick with it until you make a number of them before you move on to that next project. Pick one simple project. It could be an ornament, an egg, a small tool handle. It could be anything, and as you progress, the project can be more complex. Maybe it's boxes, maybe it's threaded boxes, but do multiples. That's the point I'm trying to get across. Focus on technique, and then you watch your skills accelerate. And boxes are a great project because there's so many different sequential steps, and they're not necessarily the easiest thing to turn, so turning multiples can certainly help, and it gives you a chance to refine each box as you look at it and think, do I need to change that curve a little bit? Think about it as you're looking at each piece as you're turning it. So turn multiples and watch your efficiency and speed and your overall turning skills improve. I hope this is helpful for you. If you've got some comment, question, please leave it in the notes below, and remember, y'all stay safe and come on back, you hear?